Poland is a part of the European Union, but lately the country has been asserting its differences with the bloc. In the latest, Poland's highest court has called some articles of the European Union Treaty as quote-unquote unconstitutional. This could potentially threaten the funding it receives and its even membership within the bloc. The case was taken up after the Prime Minister questioned whether the EU could stop Poland from reorganizing its judiciary. It is being said that some EU treaty articles do not align with the Polish constitution.
The Prime Minister's application concerns the relationship between the treaty provisions and the primacy of the Polish constitution, and therefore it concerns Polish sovereignty.
In its ruling, the Constitutional Tribunal also said it has a right to check EU laws and even the rulings of European Union's Court of Justice. This indirectly challenges the EU to not interfere in Poland's judiciary. The bloc's Justice Commissioner has responded with a stern warning and vowed to react within a short time.
Confronted with a decision of the Constitutional Tribunal, we will react to reaffirm, I don't want to mention again, the main principles on the functioning of the European Union. And that's the goal that we have. We are guardian of the treaties at the Commission level, and we'll do what is necessary to try to have a correct application of the treaties. And so that's the main goal that we have. And of course we will do that in a very near future, because we received the decision today, but we will react, of course, in a short period of time.
Now our correspondent Lucy Ho is joining us live from Brussels. Lucy, good to see you and thank you very much for joining us at this hour. How will the EU bloc likely to react to Poland's top court ruling that challenges the supremacy of the European law or treaty?
Well, the reaction so far has been pretty swift. The European Commission, the EU's executive, has indicated that it will issue a formal response shortly, but is looking into all options available to it in legal terms. We're also expecting a reaction later today from the Court of Justice of the European Union, the subject of this action by the Polish Constitutional Tribunal. There is the potential that the EU could withhold funding as part of that giant coronavirus recovery package that was agreed last year that would see the issuance of 24 billion euros in grants to Poland and 12 billion in loans that could now be withheld as a result of this action. Some EU lawmakers here indicating that really restricting funding or any financial penalties is really the only way that there will be real consequences for Poland in this instance. Some indications from one EU lawmaker suggesting this could backfire for Poland drastically. But this really is being described as a red line by many here in Brussels, that it is a direct indication that Poland intends to override aspects of the European Constitution, and that it potentially indicates that Poland intends to leave the EU altogether. So we are expecting some swift indications of what consequences or what action the EU will be taking as it prepares to issue its formal response to yesterday's ruling.
Lucy, what does this say about the continent's push for an ever closer union of its 27 members, including Poland?
Well, what there has been is an acceptance that there will be a two-track union, that there will be those in the European Union, such as, for example, France and Germany, who are working to build closer economic and political cooperation, but there will be others, such as those in the eastern part of the bloc, who will be looking to have less of that close relationship. So there has been a long-standing political battle with Hungary and Poland, who in many ways are seen to be being rogue member states, particularly with this long-standing battle between Brussels and those two capitals in Budapest and Warsaw over matters of rule of law, such as the independence of the judiciary, which is of course the issue in this case ties with Poland, on the restrictions of the rights of LGBT people, on restrictions of the rights of the freedom of the press. And there is a long-standing battle about what action Brussels should take in terms of taking action against the actions of Budapest and Warsaw. So certainly this will be a huge test for the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, in to what extent she takes action against Poland. As I say, some people here in Brussels saying that this is really a red line and demands the swiftest and the strongest possible measures to ensure that Poland is held accountable. Others saying that this indicates that Poland is looking to follow the UK and leaving the European Union altogether. So this case really could prove decisive, and I think looking at the restriction of that EU funding will be the critical test as to how this battle between Warsaw and Brussels proceeds.
Talking about this crossing of the red line, some observers describe the court ruling as a legal Polexit. Is it possible that Poland could eventually follow the lead of Britain, which voted to leave the Union under Brexit?
Well, as I say, I mean, that's certainly some speculation today that really this was an inflammatory move by Poland that intended to indicate how Warsaw intends to proceed. We know, for example, that Hungary has at different points indicated that it could be looking to leave the European Union within a decade, comments that were later rowed back upon. But, you know, we know that there is a similar standpoint in Poland where there is rising levels of Euroscepticism and a government that has taken steps to increasingly undermine the authority of EU law, which has been, of course, highlighted by this decision from the Polish Constitutional Tribunal. In this case, this was about the independence of the judiciary. So this court ruling allows the Polish Constitutional Tribunal to take precedence over EU law. The Court of Justice of the European Union had made several decisions criticising or taking a strong line on decisions made within Poland about the independence of its own judiciary, namely the moving around of judges. So this does indicate a very strong line from the Polish government. As I say, it is being described as a red line here, and we are expecting both swift action from the the Court of Justice of the European Union and the European Commission. But yes, it does indicate that perhaps there is the risk that that Poland is looking to move away, to undermine Brussels, which could highlight a potentially inflammatory battle to come between Brussels and Warsaw.
Okay, finally, Lucy, before I let you go, very quickly, what are the possible ramifications if Poland actually pulls out?
If Poland pulls out, then we will see an enormously protracted political process like we've seen with the UK over the course of the last 4.5 years. This would have major implications for other countries in the Eastern European bloc. There would be major implications also for Hungary, which has traditionally been grouped with Poland, given, as I say, that long-standing political battle. It would have major implications for the accession of the Western Balkans, the 6 states such as Serbia and such as Kosovo, North Macedonia and Albania, who are looking to join the European Union. It would have major implications for the EU long-term budget, given, of course, that delayed EU funding of 24 billion euros and 12 billion in loans that's currently on standby. So the political implications of this would be huge and long-running. I think we are some way from that yet, but Brussels will, as I say, be looking to assess its options to ensure that that does not happen, but equally to ensure that it keeps one of its member states in check. So it will be revealing how it intends to proceed later on today.
Live from Brussels, thank you very much, Lucy Ho.